Hey guys, Stephen Tony here, and I am back with a new video. And this is going to be an entry in the, in my opinion, from the shelves series. And as you can see from the thumbnail and the title, it is going to be on Jean Rollin and his film The Demoniacs, which I actually watched earlier today, and I do want to uh, discuss it while everything is still fresh in my mind. Now, I'd like to give a shout out to my buddy Thijs, Cold Cinema 83. He was very excited when I shared with him that I was going to be checking out more of Rollin's films, and I promised him I would let him know my thoughts. So, Thijs, buddy, here are my thoughts, and I hope you and everybody else enjoys. Okay, so the plot, the plot line to the Demoniacs is fairly simple. These four pirates engage in giving vessels false signals of being close to port, only for the ship to wreck on the coastline, and where they pillage them, plunder, and of course, in the end, kill them for any valuables they have. And one day during a pillage, they find that two women have survived the ordeal and proceed to assault them and eventually kill them. But the women somehow survive. They end up in this part of an island where a exorcist lives, and this strange clown, where a being is being held. He's sort of stuck there, and it's implied to be either the devil himself or a servant of his, where the women are given the opportunity to avenge on themselves. Now, I do have to make a correction of a flub I made when I showed this in my first update of the year. I thought Joelle Core was one of the women who gets, attacked, but I found out watching the film that she's actually the de facto leader of the pirates, and boy, what a nasty, nasty woman she plays in this film. I mean, she doesn't get bitchier than her character. Here, Tina, she derives a kind of sadistic pleasure watching what happens to her lovers' victims. She and the main pirate have a romance, but she's kind of the leader in a way, although he gives the orders. Yeah. So yeah, my thoughts on it. I do have to say it's very good. The beginning is kind of a mixed bag. When the girls come ashore, and the evil pirates got the lust in their eyes for them. The two henchmen of the captain, Libusco and Paul, I didn't find them believable in the assault scenes. Like, normally if I see that type of scene in a movie, I always feel some form of a discomfort, or like, man, should I really be watching this stuff, or and here I didn't get that. I just didn't get those vibes watching the actors who played Busco and Paul. Now the women actually did do pretty good. I believed their struggles and in earnest to try to get away and such, but I don't know. I mean, for a scene where you're supposed to have an impact of wanting to see these gals get payback on these jerks, I didn't have that feeling at all. I mean, I felt it was kind of bland, and then rushing initially seeing it. I mean, I still wanted to see these guys, and of course Kawar's character Tina get they're just desserts, but I mean, the emotion that you're supposed to, I guess, get from that scene, I just didn't feel it with those guys. Guys, I mean, maybe it was just how I was, feeling, watching it initially. I'm sure I'd probably feel different in another viewing down the road. But anyway, so yeah, I'm thinking, at first, okay, is this gonna end up static? But then after what's thought to be the killing at first, is when the film really gets rolling and going. The captain starts seeing visions of the two girls' ghosts. We sees them covered in blood. Asking for help. Now it's mentioned in the opening that the captain is slowly going mad, that he sees the victims ghosts every time, but this feels different. I mean, these ghosts, or or at least his visions, are very permeant. They're very tense. When he sees them, probably what normal reaction he probably already would have feel stronger, at least it felt that way to me. So y'all can tell that this action has had an effect on him, more so than the other spirits he's encountered since being a pirate and a wrecker. So yeah, and Joelle Kawar is actually fabulous in the role of Tina. Even though she's a total bitch in this one, she is very effective at it, and she actually has more guts than her male counterparts. Even though she derives a kind of sadistic pleasure from watching the action, she probably causes the most form of terror because she enjoys it so much. I mean, even though she doesn't get too physical with anybody, the fact that she is having fun makes her the scariest of the pirates. Pirates, and she does spend a lot of time in the nude in this film, which is fine by me. Like I got no problem with that. One thing I do like about Rollin's style of nudity, and showing eroticism in his films, at least anyway, is that you don't feel like a voyeur, And I said, and I also said something to this extent when I talked about Night of the Hunted, like you don't feel like an insecure voyeur watching, his sex scenes and his nudity. It doesn't feel like dirty, which I love. Like some films in my collection that kind of is erotica. Sometimes I kind of have to peek behind the door to to see if anybody sees it. But but with Rollin, I kind of don't have that feeling, and to do it, which I love. And the cinematography to this is really great as well. It was shot both on location on an island and in a studio. So, and the locations scenes of the island are very neat, and and of course Rollin gives this dream-like quality, because the area is supposed to be cursed, because apparently this is where pirate wreckers were most active to a point, and the village feels that other forces are kind of paying them back for letting the pirates operate there. There's a I guess she's a tavern slash brothel owner named Eloise, and she is a clairvoyant, and she knows the demon being kept on the I'm at the area people aren't supposed to go to, and knows that he was to be in prison there for a century, which was the 18th century. Now it's now in the film's the 19th century. So she knows that something is going to happen where he's set free. So yeah, and Rollin, of course, just gives these vibes of otherworldliness, that that nothing's normal here, that there's all sorts of stuff going on, and you do really get that vibe. And what I like extra special so far about these types of films from Rollin is that I don't feel like the more traditional forms of horror, even the gothic form, there's something I always viewed Rollin's films as more on the lines of a fantastique film, because they're really not moody. There's really no sense of dreadness films. It's more like this thus like dreamy type of atmosphere. You know, like you know like a dream that's a bit darker, but it's not menacing. You know, saying which I enjoy. I think he gives off this vibe very well. And yeah, and yeah, it's really well done and interesting. The guy who plays either the devil or an angel that somehow got possessed by a demon. He's really interesting as well in the film. Um, they have all this like black eyeliner around his eyes, but it works for him, and they have him, in a black cape, but his clothes are all white. So it kind of shows he was something of light, but for whatever reason, right now he's kind of, in this state. I guess, I mean, I'm trying my best to describe it, but not give away too much. In case anyone hasn't seen it yet, and doesn't know what happens in the end, but yeah. So yeah, and the ladies who played the girls who eventually end up the Demoniacs, they're they're interesting because they don't have much in the way of dialogue, but their facial expressions work really well in the film. And when they manage to survive the pirates, whether they were dead and somehow got brought back to life like beforehand, or whether they somehow survived being hit and attacked overall, is kind of left ambiguous, which I like. When they end up in this forbidden area of the island, they're given a choice, either just stay there, whether under some form of protection, or I can go to this demon or the devil, and for helping him, they'll be granted his powers to take revenge. So it sort of turns into, so eventually it turns into, what are you, willing to go to, for some kind of payback, because something happens to the other inhabitants of this cursed area that the girls have a choice to make, which I found very interesting to have done. Yeah. I don't want to say the film is bleak in any way, but you do get a sense that it's not gonna turn out exactly the way you want it to turn out. I mean, certain things have kind of been preordained, both from the inhabitants of the cursed area of the island, as well as the clairvoyant Louise, who's also helping out the girls as best she can. And yeah, it sort of, you know, goes into like in the question, what's like, better, vengeance, from the powers of evil, or to have fate take its natural course, no matter how harsh, cruel, and indifferent it might be, which I really thought like was an interesting touch. The film definitely has rewatch value. I mean, the the opening is kind of middle of the road, but after like that, things really start to get interesting. Yeah, yeah, and you won't be disappointed. Now, for anybody that's kind of iffy on nude scenes, I can tell you honestly that they are done tastefully, especially the ones where the demon or devil or whatever you want to call him is granting their wish to take revenge. Yeah, like those scenes kind of get this performance art quality to it. It almost looks like a very oddly choreographed dance at one point, but it works. It really does work. Because also hinted the eventual demoniacs themselves still had their virginity at the time, so, and even with this bargain strike, still have some innocence to them. So yeah, I can tell you that there is a surprise and redemption in the film, even though it kind of comes a bit late for the one character. They still have a moment which I thought worked well, and yeah, things kind of like resolve themselves, just not in a way people might expect. So yeah, like overall, I really enjoyed this film. I do have to give it a rewatch down the road, because there's a few things I think I might have missed. But overall, it's this wonderful darker fantasy. Like it's all shot with natural effects. Like you're gonna, everything from the cinematography to the to the music, to the acting of Joel Kerr, John Rico, who plays the captain, and the actresses who play Louise and the and the two women who like desire and revenge do really well. Again, the actors who played Busco and Paul, are overall okay, but they just didn't hit the mark for me for the one scene. But like who knows? I may have a different opinion on my next viewing. yeah. I would definitely give this a watch. I normally don't do ratings on my channel personally, but I do give it a high tier. Like, it's up there with the good ones. So that is it. Yes. Thanks for watching. Please let me know in the comments what you thought of the film if you've seen it. I did my review. I give you an encouragement or push to check it out yourself. What you liked about the film, what you didn't. If you think it's one of Rollin's stronger films or lesser films, just please let me know in the comments. And if you haven't yet, please give this video a thumbs up. It does help the channel. And if you haven't already and would like to, please hit that subscribe button and bell notification button to see more content like this. And again, thanks for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye.